We have trillions and trillions of dollars in debt. We have trillions of dollars in recent deficits. Our country is bankrupt. If Moody's would tell the truth, Moody's would say our country is bankrupt, that we have these massive unfunded obligations, and they've only grown because this president imposed the biggest of all entitlements on this nation by squeaking a vote past the House of Representatives and by lying repeatedly about what was in the bill. And the point is, whether he wins a second term or not, he'll be gone when the consequences of this dirty work impacts this society. And it will impact this society. It's frightening. You need to really look at Greece and look at Spain and Portugal and see what's going on, because we're following the same route. This status route, the phony green jobs, all these lies. All these lies by these politicians, and they'll never be held to account. When our society begins to crumble, when anarchy begins to unfold, you're not going to be thinking Henry Waxman and Chris Dodd, who'll be retired, living in Ireland, when in his new home over there, his vacation home, whatever it is, or Charlie Rangel, living in the Dominican Republic. They're all going to be cared for. They're all going to be perfectly fine. But what about our society? What's going to happen to it? Well, it can't survive this. When you hear them say, this entitlement is unsustainable, this budget's unsustainable, financially our debt is unsustainable, those are red flags of a pending disaster. And the only antidote, as I've said and I've written, is conservatism and conservative principles. And our principles are our founding principles. So we seek to defend the civil society, to improve the civil society. They seek to destroy it. Now, in the civil society, as I've talked about, the individual is accepted as more than an abstract statistic or a faceless member of some group. He's seen as unique and spiritual with a soul and a conscience. And he's free to discover his own potential and pursue his own legitimate interests. And he's guided by prudence and morality and faith. And he strives to be virtuous. That is, ethical and restrained and honorable. This gets to the heart of the whole argument on illegal immigration. Well, we need jobs. Well, somebody's going to... That misses the point. You're destroying the civil society. Immigration, yes. Illegal immigration, no. Assimilation, yes. Balkanization, no. And in this civil society, the individual has a duty to respect the unalienable rights of others and the values and customs and traditions that have been tested and tried over time. Not to covet their property, not to covet their money. It doesn't belong to them. What you earn is yours. The individual is responsible for attending to his own well-being and that of his family. Do you hear this kind of an argument coming out of Obama or this Congress? No. They attack self-sufficient, independent people. And in this civil society, private property and liberty are inseparable. And the individual's right to live freely and safely and pursue happiness includes the right to acquire and possess property. Now, what is property? It represents the fruits of your intellectual and physical labor. And if somebody takes it from you and steals it from you in order to fund unconstitutional, that is, illegitimate activity, for those purposes, you've been enslaved. Because that's your time that you're spending working for the government. The rule of law is crucial in a civil society. A just law, known and predictable, and applied equally, although imperfectly, because we're not perfect. That's what undergirds the civil society. So if you have a president who can willy-nilly nationalize and set salaries and punish and reward, then where's the rule of law? If you have a Supreme Court that can make up the laws that goes along with this phony notion of a living and breathing Constitution, then you don't have a just law. So for us, the conservative, the civil society is our highest purpose. It's preservation and improvement. That is why we defend it against Obama and this Democrat Party and this Congress. We look at Greece, which has destroyed its civil society. We look at Portugal and Spain, which are on the same route. We look at the Third World, same thing. What do Hugo Chavez and Castro and all the rest of them, what do? They replaced the civil society with what? The end of a bayonet, the point of a pistol. They destroy it. And so they destroy humanity. And that is what we're fighting against. You can do it through the devaluation of money. You can do it through an army. There are many ways to do it, but the society can, in fact, collapse. Now, it's not as if we haven't tried massive government programs and spending. We've been trying them now for 70, 75 years. The very programs that the liberals tell you they created and you should thank them for, they've destroyed and are destroying. So what are they up to? No good is what they're up to. So we need to keep this in mind when we're discussing illegal immigration, and cap and trade, government-run health care, and all the other massive spending programs and phony promises that the left make and institute. Because a society can collapse, and they do. And they have. And what comes afterwards is a pretty scary proposition. Adolf Hitler. Look in Zimbabwe. Look in Cuba. Look in Venezuela. Look wherever you wish. Look at Burma. Look at Iran. These are civil society. These are societies where the civil society has either collapsed or is under attack. And what's it replaced with? Tyranny. In one form or another, tyranny. And tyranny equals inhumanity. We'll be right back.